Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 1993's Son-in-Law. Before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_Idol. And if you want to follow the show, you could follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Kiss the Reviews on both platforms. So this was a special request. So we're getting this done on a Wednesday. So
feeling good on a Wednesday. Yeah, yeah.
Sparking touch, feeling good on a Wednesday. Giving me the hope, giving me the hope to go on.
I'm ready to get into this. This movie for me has always held a special place in my heart. I was always a Pauly Shore fan in the 90s. And this was like in the pocket for Pauly Shore. Like at the height of everything. And the only thing I didn't like back then, and I still don't like to this day about this movie, especially this movie, is anytime like old white people try to do young hip kid things, it comes across as just gross and campy and just lame as fuck.
Let's chow down here and munch on some grinding.
The whole ending of this movie,
yes,
is really bad. That said, I was never like, oh, Pauly Shore vehicle is out, let's go. I liked Encino Man. I liked this. But like in the army now, shit, like I wasn't going to the movies to watch the Pauly Shore vehicle. No. That said, because it is easy to make fun of these kind of movies now.
Yeah.
Especially ones with Pauly Shore where he was such in that moment of time and nowhere outside of it. He was massive.
Yes.
I mean, like, think like Kevin Hart. Massive back then.
Yeah. He really was. He was fucking everywhere.
Everywhere.
You turned on MTV. He was on MTV. He was doing stand-up. He was, obviously in these movies. Like the Pauly Shore, buddy. Like that whole persona. It was like, back then, like it was huge. But back then, everybody, it almost seemed like the biggest characters in like the late 80s and into the 90s were all personas. It was Pauly Shore, it was Dice, it was Bobcat Goldthwait, it was
Tom Green.
Tom Green. Like I don't know, man. Tom Green seems to be the closest to the persona in real life. But yes, Tom Green, everything was like this. I'm going to develop this character, and this is literally who I'm going to be at all times throughout my career.
Shit, even Dennis Leary did that when he really jumped off the whole No Cure for Cancer bit, and his run on MTV was just him ranting.
Yep. No, absolutely. I mean, he's ranting on stolen bits, but, that's neither here nor there. But let's get into this movie, shall we? And we'll start with the cast. This film, Son-in-Law, stars Pauly Shore as Crawl, Carla Gugino as Rebecca Warner, Lane Smith as Walter Warner, Cindy Pickett as Connie Warner, Mason Adams, the Cadbury egg guy, as Walter Warner Sr., Patrick Renna as Zack Warner, Tiffani Amber Thiessen as Tracy, Dan Gauthier as Travis, and Dennis Burkley as Theo.
I will say this about this movie before we really get into it. This is my favorite of the Pauly Shore vehicles.
Yes.
However, the Midwest hillbilly elitism that is on display here, fuck all of you who ever called anybody that lived in a city an elitist. I watched this whole movie just with like this the whole time. Walters are on camera. Theo's are on camera. Fuck all of you.
And listen, you've lived in the Midwest. I've lived in the Midwest. I lived so the movie takes place for the most part in South Dakota, in the small farm town. I lived as close to the city or town in this movie as one possibly could for about a year. And I wanted to murder myself. Corey's life lessons.
Hi, Midwestern elitists, farmer elitists, whatever you are. You keep saying like, oh, what you gonna do, city? What's city gonna do? And pushing him into manure and shit. Let me tell you something. You know what city's gonna do? They're gonna fucking stab you and steal your wallet.
This movie opens in a small farm town, South Dakota, where Rebecca is graduating from high school. She's the class valedictorian, and she gives her speech to the 7 other kids in her graduating class.
Yeah. Let's not throw around words like valedictorian and titles like valedictorian when your class is like 3 people. This is fucking ridiculous. I'm the smartest person in the library. How many people are in the library? 2?
Me and the librarian?
Yeah.
You hear that, Theo?
Yeah, whatever Travis lettered in, by the way, because he never takes off his Letterman jacket, whatever he lettered in, it had to be a single sport, right? They couldn't field a football team.
No.
They couldn't field a fucking basketball team with that graduating class, let alone a fucking football team or any other real sport.
Can we also face facts? If he did letter in basketball, he was still doing the in-between-the-legs granny shot for free throws.
Yeah, Hoosiers is his movie, because that's the 100%. Way basketball's meant to be played.
Later that summer, Becca's father talks to her about going off to school in California and how the devil's going to try to get in her panties because California.
Let me tell you something, Walters of the world. If your daughter looks like Carla Gugino does in this movie, everybody and the devil are going to try and get into her panties.
Yes, and they do, including the hillbilly Travis here, because after she talks to her dad, she sneaks out, goes to the barn, and Travis is trying to just rail her at all costs because, like, you're going off to college and I'll never see you and I'm going to miss you and let me stick my Peter in you, whatever the fuck. Just an FYI, I'm just throwing this out there, just as an FYI for all these, like, middle America farmer elitists. The devil just ain't in California, okay? The devil's in your fucking backyard and he's trying to fuck your daughter. Okay.
Yeah, and normally that's the kind of guy that's actually going to rape her.
Because as we see, he has easy access to roofies later on in this movie. So
as we see, he's a fucking sociopath.
100%. You could just tell in his eyes. Again, going back to, you ever just see a person, they just got a really punchable face? Travis in this movie has the most punchable face I've ever seen.
I see it. Every now and again, we do these movies and we don't dive into the casting. Like, we're to say, oh, it's a great cast, everybody did their job.
Yeah.
But the importance of a good casting director never really gets mentioned on this show. And if you guys don't know out there, the best casting director that has ever lived is named Allison Jones. And I guarantee you, if you've been like, oh, what a great ensemble cast, it's because Allison Jones fucking put it together that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if she did this movie, but whoever cast Travis, mwah.
Oh, it was beautiful. After this whole scene in the barn, her parents and her brother drive her to California to help her move in, and they're shocked by boys in the dorm rooms and the devil, and their daughter's roommate is a gay, and whatever the fuck is going on here. Listen, I know we're going to keep talking about this, and I'm going to keep doing the hillbilly accent, so if you're offended, tough fucking titty. But the amount of, like, pearl clutching in this scene as they're moving her into the dorm, and it's like, oh my God, this is not what dorms are like. Like, I don't know if she's going to the largest university in the world, But this is not what fucking moving in looked like. It wasn't a million people descending on one building and everybody's like bumping into you and just some guy's been there for like a week. He's already coming out of the shower and just dick hanging out in the fucking hallway. Again, that's not how this shit works. Just throwing that out there.
It doesn't. I mean, I didn't go to college because I'm a self-made man. But that's what I heard. And again, you're so concerned about the devil and the gays and I need a screwdriver to pop this trunk because damn it, I left my keys. Nobody's paying attention to the fact that Zack, her brother, has a very unhealthy sexual obsession with his sister. And it's not like one of those cool Pornhub stories where it's like my stepsister like got stuck in the couch. This is one of those real ones where it's like, yo, my brother's touching my underwear in public and feels free to comment on it.
I think he has an infatuation with just underwear and panties and bras in general because he's touching her shit. He's touching her roommate shit. Okay, I gotta don't do that.
Don't do that, it's not good for ya.
Hi, fucking younger brothers, just fucking anybody in general, really. Let's just throw this out there. If you're helping somebody move in and they don't really know their roommate, or they do and you don't, can you just keep your hands off the fucking underwear situation? Like, I get it. Small town kid goes to the big city. They didn't start making panties in the big city. You know, like, you know what panties are. You have a subscription to Playboy. Like, stop grabbing other people's fucking underwear and putting them on your face and on your head and like rubbing them on your crotch or whatever the fuck it is you're doing. Just don't do any of that.
No, I mean, like, dude, he even mentions his sister's like, oh, did you grab my sister's boobs like that?
Have you had your hands on my sisters?
Don't talk about your sister like that.
Pump the fucking brakes on your sister and her no-no bits. That's gross.
So we see here that Becca is the fish out of water. She isn't assimilating well at first. So during a party on her floor, Crawl, the RA, talks to her, convinces her to try new things, to not leave school and quit school and go home. And we then get a little montage of Becca and Crawl hanging out, trying new things. She's changing her hair color and she's becoming California now. Cut to Thanksgiving now. Becca is ready to go home for a visit. Crawl doesn't have anywhere to go since his trip to home fell through, so she invites him to go with her to South Dakota.
Having obviously seen the movie now and knowing everything that's going to happen here, her true intentions on why she wants to bring Crawl with her.
Yeah.
She doesn't have this great idea until she figures out what Travis is about to say and like hangs up the phone and I got to get the fuck out of here because I know he's going to ask me to marry him at some point.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you. You got a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But you're going to have to wait till tomorrow.
She is just as bad as Travis.
Yes.
She's kind of a low-down, dirty-ass bitch. Because this whole thing is all set up by her just not wanting to say no.
Corey's life lessons.
Travis's of the world.
It's Travis, your boyfriend.
When your long-term girlfriend goes away for her freshman year of college, don't ask her to marry you. She's trying to get a fucking education. I don't care how lonely you are. Don't do that. Especially when your side piece is Tiffani Amber Thiessen. Get all of that dirty shit that a good girl like her is never going to let you do. Get that all out of the way with your side chick. That's what you're supposed to do. Your 4 years of experimenting isn't in college. It's working insurance because it's what all you fucking jerk-offs do that still wear your Letterman jacket. And you fucking bang out Tiffani Amber Thiessen for as long as you can. And then when the good girl comes home, hey, will you marry me? I love this area. And then you're good to go. That's your life. You pump out your 2.5 kids, you buy your 3-bedroom house, and you go on about your day. Everybody's happy. But this, will you marry me because you're home on Thanksgiving break?
Yes.
Your first year away?
You're 18 years old. Gross.
Even if you weren't a psychopath, that's some psycho shit, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
No. By the way, you're still wearing your Letterman's jacket.
Becca and Crawl here fly into South Dakota. Her parents and Travis are in shock at how much their dear Becca has changed. They also meet Crawl, and he's exactly what they thought every ridiculous Californian devil would be. And everyone hates Crawl when he first gets there. He's now the fish out of water. It was Becca in California, now him in South Dakota. And again, I know the Pauly Shore character is, this big, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's his persona. The one thing I didn't like, that language aside, you're always going to have different language and different eras and whatever. And the whole surfer style. But he walks around this farm like he's got an active shit in his pants.
Yes.
I don't even know how to describe it. It was the one thing that always annoyed me about Pauly Shore. He hopped around like he was actively shitting in his pants, or he had just got done shitting in his pants and he's trying not to let it touch his skin.
Hell yes.
You're 100% correct. And you're right. I can understand at first why they're so put off by him, because he is so aggressively over the top. And I am all about being yourself and all that shit. But when you're meeting somebody for the first time, tone it down. You're pounding on the truck and singing Green Acres, and you're fucking, the chickens, I've never seen it. Are they extra crispy or free range? Oh my God, fucking, are you fucking a moron?
Are they extra crispy original recipe?
But the second then he's comes back in, he's like, hey man, I'm really sorry. I got super excited. It's like, okay, cool. We get this dude some Ritalin, and we can balance this shit out.
Yes.
Right? Because you're just hyper. Cool. I get it. Once he apologizes, drop your bullshit.
Yep.
Because he said he was over the top, but he's also he understands that he is who he is. Let's move on and just get through this fucking holiday. Everybody else in America has to do on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
But nope, they dig in their fucking heels and they're like, oh, well, we accept your apology, but also, fuck you, city slicker. This is how we do shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Travis then here, as soon as they get home, he takes Becca into the barn. He attempts to propose to her. She freaks out and leaves. We then transfer from here to Becca taking Crawl out shopping to get him some more rustic wear. And then they go out to dinner with Becca's family at the Moose Lodge. And while everyone is sitting, Travis stands up and proposes. Becca then forces Crawl to do something. So he announces to everyone that he's already asked Becca to marry him. She said yes, and everybody's in shock and awe that she's marrying the Californian devil.
Look, they should be in shock and awe that this presumptuous fuck, who's 19 at best,
yes,
stood up like he's the town's mayor to give some fuck. I'm eating my fucking dinner, you little shit, and you're making me wait for your get the fuck out of here with your bullshit fakakta fucking scheme on marrying the fucking girl. Eat a dick, Travis. Go sell me some life insurance on Monday. I'm trying to have dinner because I actually have a real job. By the way, you're still wearing your Letterman's jacket.
You were right.
Even if you are the big shit around your small town.
Yeah.
Right? You should know, or at least have somebody that's close enough to you to just go, son, come here for a second. Put your arm around them, because that's what you got to do with these people so they really understand this heart to heart. When did you graduate? Oh, back in June? That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Take that fucking jacket off. You look like an asshole. What are you trying to do? Pick up the fucking 16-year-old girls? What are you, Wooderson from fucking Dazed and Confused? No? Take the fucking jacket off, asshole.
Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
By the way, you had to let her in men's badminton because we don't have anybody to field a fucking real team of a sport around here.
Becca's parents here lose their minds, and when they get home, her father asks Crawl what his future plans are. He tells him that he could be a farmer like Walter is, and Walter then tells Theo, his farmhand, to show Crawl what it's like to be a real farmer because this city slicker, he's not going to be able to do the farming things. And let me tell you something. This ain't motherfucking rocket science, jackass, because we then get some fun scenes of Theo being a dick and quote unquote showing Crawl how to farm and Crawl fucking everything up.
Because they're sabotaging him. He's not fucking up because he's stupid. Yes. He's fucking up because they're sabotaging him and trying to hurt him. And this is also where Theo and I are going to have I'll take shit from Walter. You're the dad. And I'm playing the engagement son-in-law thing here. I'll take that. Walter Sr., I'll take that. You're old. You don't understand things like automobiles. That's fine. You sit there and whittle wood all day. I'll take your shit. That's fair. Theo, you lay one more motherfucking hand on me, they will not find your body.
No.
Because I fed you to the pigs.
Hoo-ah.
You could take your fat ass back out and learn how to fucking read, you hooked on phonics learning motherfucker. You fat bitch.
Listen,
get the fuck out of here.
You talk about casting. This was also a fantastic job in casting because Theo walks onto the screen and you already know who the fuck he is. He doesn't have to say 2 words and you're like, oh, I've met you. You're a douche. We then get to lunch here, and Crawl tells Walter that he's just getting started, and he'll continue to be a farmer. There's the whole family fight thing, and they have like a really earnest moment where Crawl's like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave. Obviously, I'm the problem here." Yada yada. And then it's like, "Hey, everybody, settle down. Crawl, you're fine." He goes back out to the farm, right, with the son, and they start to bond over that shit. Yes. And working together and whatever. And we then get scenes of Crawl getting things done on the farm in his own like kooky way. Mm-hmm. So it literally took him 7 hours to learn how to be a farmer and get things done. And going back to what I said earlier, this ain't fucking rocket science. You know what it is? It's finding ways to, you got to lift. It's heavy work. Mm-hmm. But Crawl's like, okay, cool. I'm going to put some fucking rollerblades on because those were a thing in 93. And I'm going to do the thing and feed the pigs and blah, blah, blah. And he's getting shit done. So all in all, this big, dumb city boy that doesn't understand farm. He literally understood farming in fucking 7 hours. Yeah. As long as you could do the work, it ain't that fucking hard.
Yeah, no.
So fuck Theo.
Oh, yeah. Everybody acting like, well, don't call yourself a farmer now. Well, why? You said you're a farmer, and I just did everything you do up until lunch. Sounds to me like I'm a farmer. Well, I got to tell you, you smell like shit. Well, yeah, you know why, Walter? Because your fat fuck of a friend here pushed me into a pile of manure.
Hell yes.
Let's also talk about the fact how lucky you are that I'm that California kind of city boy that isn't coming back on any of you. You're lucky you got the tame little fucking I wear fucking bell bottoms and vests kind of hippie. Because if you got the kind of this city boys, you'd have been fucking. First off, Theo wouldn't have showed up for lunch. He would be lunch.
Yes.
And second, if you talked it like, oh my God, boy, I got to tell you, you smell like trash. Yeah, Walter, come here. I'm going to show you what the fuck real trash smells like.
I'm always angry.
We then get the scene here where Crawl finds Walter's combine. And when he tries to play some John Denver, he turns on the combine, runs it through the field as Theo and Walter try to chase him down. And even here, he literally learns how to drive the combine in 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Like
Theo hasn't managed how to wear pants that stay upright.
So then we get a scene inside where Crawl catches Connie getting out of the shower and convinces her to get all gussied up to go out that night with Walter to the fucking honky tonk in the barn or wherever the hell.
Mhm.
And I got a quick don't do that.
Don't do that, it's not good for ya.
Hi, Connies. You have your daughter's boyfriend, fiance, whatever the fuck you think he is in this movie, or just somebody you've never met, or I don't know, your fucking family. Okay, you're in the shower, and I don't know if you're doing the whole bucket and ladle thing or it's an actual shower, but when you get out of the shower, dry yourself off. She is sopping wet with a towel around her boobs. That's one. Two, are you just showering with the door open? Because the door is wide the fuck open. How about when you take a shower and your fucking no-no square and your titties are hanging out? Like, just shut the door. It's just the nice thing to do so people don't see your fucking bush just willy-nilly when you get out of the shower. But
yeah, that's fair.
Carl sees her, he gets her all gussied up, and then we get to the barn and we see Walter. He gets a boner along with all the other old farmers because she put makeup on for the first time.
Aside from everybody trying to do what you alluded to at the beginning, which is old people trying to sound cool and like, oh, nasty.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hottie. And everybody trying to be Pauly Shore.
Nasty.
Girlfriend.
Outside of that, I really enjoyed this scene. I like the guy coming up and trying to ask Connie to dance, and Walter, hell no, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
That whole thing, and then the two of them all the way through the night, like trying to, go back up to bed, and Walter really wanting to tap that ass. I like that scene a lot.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, Midwesterners. Uncle Corey here. I understand it. You've been married a long time, and life has not been easy because you chose to farm for a living. However, spruce each other up every now and again. Try something new. Role play a little bit if you have to. Just call each other by a different name. It's totally fine.
Yep.
It helps. And you know what's going to happen the next morning? You're going to find out that you're not quite the cantankerous sack of shit you were the day before.
So Carl then here runs into Travis again. Travis apologizes for punching him at the dinner. And he also says that he wants to throw him a bachelor party to show that there's no hard feelings. But I think Travis has something up his sleeve. Like, he's up to no good. Something about it. I don't know. Maybe his douchey face told me that.
Don't do that, it's not good for ya.
Hi, Pauly Shores or Crawls or Franks or whatever the fuck his real name is in this movie. If somebody punched you in the fucking face because, you propose blah, 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 and they can't use their fucking words, so they just haul off and punch you in the face, and then 5 seconds later they see you and they're like, oh man, totally overreacted, buddy. You know what I'm gonna do to make this all up to you? I know you're banging my girlfriend, but I'm gonna throw you a bachelor party. Okay? Nobody fucking does a 180 like that quickly. Okay? And you want to talk about big city boys and California devils and all that bullshit? Somebody from California or New York or one of the big cities, they're not buying any of this bullshit. They're the first ones to call out the bullshit. And maybe it's because Pauly Shore's a hippie and he doesn't understand things and he just wants everybody to vibe well. But don't trust this motherfucker. Don't ever do that. Look at his face. His face tells you everything you need to know about him and Theo.
Yeah. And just to surmise, above and beyond the getting punched in the face, because in real life, that's going to end any kind of chance of like, hey, let's have a bachelor party times together. That's not happening. But in this situation, Travis was getting ready to propose. And literally in front of the whole town, Pauly Shore was the one that stood up and said, sorry, Trav, can't do that. I already proposed to her, and she said yes. He hits you in the face, and a day later, or 2 days later, or a fucking year later, he shows up, says sorry, and let me throw your bachelor party for you. I'm giving that a hard pass, especially when I go, Oh, that's cool. Who's behind me? Theo? And he's excited about this too? You can both eat a dick. Matter of fact, I have a ball for each of you. Start sucking.
So the next morning, Crawl goes fishing with Walter and Pappy, and Walter and Pappy get into a fight. Pappy walks off in a huff. Crawl has a little talk with Walter and imparts some of his, Crawl wisdom. And as they talk, Pappy has a spell, a quote unquote spell. It looks like he's having a fucking heart attack.
Yeah, he has a heart attack, and Crawl quickly uses homophobia to jazz him right out of it.
Yeah, to cure it.
Guess what I'm going to do, you homophobe? I'm going to kiss you on the mouth if you don't wake the fuck up. Oh, I'm fine. Totally fine.
And then if you don't wake up, I'm touching your pee-pee. You awake?
Let's not even go to a hospital after this. Let's just go home. It's all fine. Pappy died. Pappy died that day.
No, Pappy did die that day. And by the way, he's like, oh my God, everything is automatically fine before he even takes his pills that Walter goes to the truck to go get. He's like, oh my God, I hate gay people. You tried to kiss me, and now my heart's fine?
In real life, Pappy's whole right side is just sagged. Go to a hospital.
We then get back to the farm. Crawl talks to Becca, tells her he doesn't want to lie to her family anymore because they're good people and they're all getting along and kumbaya. She wants to continue the lie. Crawl isn't happy about it, so he just kind of walks out. And then we get the bachelor party. They go to this bar. Theo and Travis roofie Crawl, and then Tracy comes in and she starts stripping for the boys, and as she strips, Crawl passes out. And then Travis roofies Tracy as well. I got a couple of problems with this situation. I was going to say this scene, but I don't have any problems with the scene. Everything, all the acting, everything's fine.
Oh,
I got a problem with the situation in real life. So Tracy, by all accounts, is like one of Becca's friends from high school, maybe, probably. She's never leaving town. She graduated with them, and she's like the hot piece of ass in the small town. Yeah. If you're never leaving town, don't strip for all the men in town.
You were right.
First off, you're already a fucking side piece. Now you're showing up as the side piece to strip in front of every guy in this town except for the Walters, Zack, and that's it.
Well, who asked you?
So we cut to the next morning. Theo comes into the kitchen. He tells the family that he thinks Crawl's in the barn. I heard some huffing and puffing and yada yada. And when Becca goes to check on him, she finds Crawl and Tracy in their underwear in the barn. And Crawl tries to apologize to Becca. She gets pissed, calls him a hypocrite, but he flips the script on her here.
Why did you bring me here, Rebecca? You needed someone to shield you from Travis because you couldn't even deal with it yourself.
Again, this is one of the scenes that I forgot that this scene happened. So when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, fucking good on you, Crawl. Push her down the stairs. No, I just like
she's not pregnant.
No, but I was like, I was just happy to see that scene was written in. It was like, okay, you want to call me a hypocrite? Cool, I'm the big city, California fucking devil, fine, whatever the fuck. But you're a fucking bitch too, and here's why. Done.
Yep. I wish he would have read the whole family like that, to be quite honest.
Yes.
That's
Absolutely.
what I was waiting for him to do at that lunch. It's just like, oh, word. Here you go, Walter. Here's one for you. Theo, you fat fuck. Connie, you non-makeup wearing ass bitch. Fucking just roll it on.
As Tracy goes to leave here, Travis shows up, makes Tracy feel like an even bigger piece of shit. And after she asks what happened the night before, he's like, I don't know, you and Crawl were all over each other. And apparently you were sucking his pee in the thing and whatever the fuck. So she gets pissed. She takes off. Without
batting an eye, he does all this.
Yes.
Like,
and this is where you get the
feel like shit.
Yeah. This is where, look in his eyes during this scene. This is where you get the, oh, he's a sociopath. Like, he doesn't feel feelings at all.
He does. He goes from that slut shaming.
Yeah.
Which Amy Brenneman would have went, yo, take it fucking easy, bro. He goes from doing that to walking into the house and with that big fucking grin proposing. You're two totally different people in the matter of 30 seconds.
Yes.
And you walked into these people's houses, because if you notice this, they sit down for Thanksgiving dinner, right? They're getting ready to do the whole turkey and dinner thing.
Yeah.
He acts like it's his fucking house, sitting at the head of the fucking table with Walter, like you're on equal footing.
Yeah.
Stops everyone from eating, and again goes right into a fucking proposal.
Yes.
The fucking ego on this fucking guy.
You were right.
So you get the proposal here, right? And you get the, you know, Becca kind of losing her shit and yada yada, and Crawl feels like shit, so he's out the door. And Tracy goes to reach for something in her seat, and she magically finds the bottle of roofies, and she turns around, picks up Crawl. They head back to the house to confront everybody. So Crawl and Tracy interrupt Travis during his proposal, and they tell everybody about the pills, and Theo comes clean. And then after Walter fires Theo, kicks both he and Travis out, they sit and munch on some grindage.
Now, let's chow down here and munch on some grinding.
Nothing was worse than the grandfather doing it.
It really tweaks my melon to see a buff bro like Crawl here get wheezed on by a greasy scumbag like you.
Elbow bumping Connie and shit. Get the fuck out of here.
You can't have the Cadbury egg guy doing that. No, just stop it.
I would have liked it better if he would have been like, Travis, you should get the fuck out of here before I start whittling you like you're a piece of wood, and takes out his fucking blade. That would have been dope.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to whittle your dick, Travis.
Whoa.
Hell yes.
I'll give you all of the grindage and old people, young people shit earlier in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you give me back these last two lines by the two Walters. If you cut those two scenes, I am so much happier with this movie. It's just the last two scenes, to be an old guy using young people shit, the last two scenes were fucking cringe, okay? They fucking really were.
Totes, bro.
You're right again.
Did it take away from the movie? No. Because you knew the ending was going to be a cliched, derivative mess of just, here's what you've seen a million times. We're trying to get the fuck out of here and go home.
Yep.
Fine. Totally take that. I honestly, genuinely liked this movie.
I love this movie.
I think I was going to have to put asterisks all over this. And I didn't have to. And I think I would probably have to for Encino Man. Obviously, that's a little more ridiculous because it's a fucking caveman coming back to life.
Yeah.
But this just, I could relate to it more, having lived in cities, still having family in the Midwest. None of them are fucking farmers, thank Christ.
Yeah.
But, still having family in the Midwest, still seeing those types of people in the Midwest. I could relate so much to this movie, having been called city, having been looked down on because I did move away and go to a city. Things like that, I totally get it. And I think that truly made this movie so much better for me, personally. From the outside looking in, it's a really, really good comedy that I would probably put akin to a Big Daddy.
Hell yes.
Based in some realism, a little hyperbolic, but still a fish out of water, good comedy, where an over-the-top comedic actor reins it in just enough to make it relatable to a wider audience.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I agree with every bit of that. And being the New Yorker that moved to Ohio, like basically fresh out of college, this movie's very relatable. I've been in a lot of these situations outside of the outside of the assless chaps that Pauly Shore wears in this thing. I wasn't trying to dress all Ohio. I don't even know if that's a thing, but it was very relatable. There's a few really funny scenes. Steven Tyler PJs.
Hey, Becca! Steven Tyler PJs! Steven Tyler PJs!
That's a fucking great scene. And not for nothing, but my wife has a pair of Steven Tyler PJs and literally does that dance every time she fucking puts them on. To this fucking day. We're fucking almost 30 years removed from this movie. But like that scene, the ashless chap scene, there's a number of where he's not being totally ridiculous, where he's just, Pauly Shore is a genuinely funny person.
Oh yeah, look, if you know anything about his lineage, he understands comedy
100%.
better than almost anybody on the planet could.
Yeah, no,
He's
absolutely,
literally born into it. But at the same time, he adopted that character to get over that hump, and that's ultimately what took him down. Same thing as a Dice. Same thing as some of these other guys that couldn't transition out of that character, the Larry the Cable guys of the world. Who just, you are that, and that is all you can ever be.
And no matter, even if you try to change, nobody will allow it to happen because you're not that guy anymore. But no, there was a lot of these scenes that were just, it was him genuinely being funny. And it made me laugh out loud. But I think you're right. I think this is akin to a Big Daddy type movie. I love this movie to this day. It's absolutely hilarious, relatable, and it's enough over the top to where it's not completely fucking ridiculous. You know, to where you're just you're just like, ugh, come on, that's stupid. You know what I mean?
It's ridiculous where it needs to be. It's serious where it needs to be. Yeah, they did a really good job with this.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So that's all I got for this. You got anything else?
Nada, senor.
All right. For Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1993's Son-in-Law.